Alright, you know what, yeah, let's see. What's cooking, y'all? I'm Casserole J, and I wanted to take a moment, or more than a moment, it's probably going to be at least a 20-minute long video, to talk about the Dead by Daylight Black Banquet, aka the 10th anniversary event. It literally just happened a few hours ago, as of the time that I'm recording this, and I've been playing on both sides for a few hours, and I was really excited for the Black Banquet event. And you guys will know that if you've watched my past couple Dead by Daylight videos, go watch them. They're actually amazing and probably going to be a lot better than this one, because in this one, I'm going to be a bit more pessimistic. Partially, I have to say up front, this is affected by my mood. I've been feeling very depressed and down the past couple days. And so yeah, I'm going to try and keep that in mind. I'm going to try and be a little more favorable of the event and not just be absolutely hating on it. But yeah, we have some problems we need to talk about. So first off, if you clicked on this video, thank you for checking it out, and you should definitely subscribe, like the video, because we're trying to hit 2,000 subscribers soon, and comment down below after you fully watch the video, after you've heard, after you've heard me out. I want to hear your guys' thoughts on the event, like both as killer players, survivor players, 50-50 players. Like, I need to hear what you guys have to think and see if it's just me in like an echo chamber or not. Okay, it's rough. Okay, supposedly while playing this event, we hit the peak player like amount of players on at one time that we've seen since Friday the 13th, which is absolutely insane. I think it was 170k, and that was on like Steam alone, not even to mention Xbox, PlayStation, Switch. Like, so that's kind of crazy. So I think they just broke another record, which kind of makes me sad, because I don't want behavior to think that this event was very well made. And I'll give it credit, it's kind of chaotic. It reminds me a lot of the Masquerade event in the way that it's pretty crazy and like chaotic in a way that almost makes it fun. Except in this case, I think it's a little bit less, a little bit, it's way less fun than the Masquerade event. Let's talk about it. You guys know I'm a 50-50 player. I play almost perfectly 50-50, like my hours. I think I enjoy Killer a little bit more than Survivor, but I think I'm better at Survivor than I am Killer. And yeah, this event is just, it's just not, I mean, like, it's not the worst thing ever for Killer, but it's not the most fun. Like, it kind of feels a bit like 2v8, where it's just a Survivor playground, just due to all the effects that they can have and what the Killer can or can't do. So basically, this whole event is about survivors are trying to get plates of food. They're trying to get them from tables, and they can eat the plates of food for small effects, or they can bring them to massive tables, and after they've collected enough food, it gives them these massive buff effects throughout the match. And then when it's like, yeah, so it's like there's 3 different quote-unquote main courses. I, of course, got invincible pallets, invincibility, haste for mine 3 times in a row. So whoopee. As you'll see in the background games, I did actually win in my 3 background games that I played back to back. But just saying like, oh, well, you won all your Killer matches, so why are you complaining about Killer felt bad in this? Like, yeah, if you were smart, you know that none of those survivors were actually playing that well. First off, let's get into this before we get into the balance and stuff, because that's going to be a rant. The game was very laggy. Now, obviously, like I said, player peak, the servers were probably being pushed to their absolute limit, but it crashed a bunch before it let me into the game. And in-game, there's just, all my movements have been very laggy. I've been put in bad servers that I shouldn't be in, so I have high ping on top of bugs just randomly breaking, as you'll see in the Deathslinger match. I don't know if I've gotten to that one yet. Yeah, my animations are like literally just breaking and stuff. Every time I'd hook someone, there'd be a big lag spike, and partially this is probably caused by my recording software, because as you guys know, I have a horrible PC, so if I record the game, it looks horrible for me. But just like both of those mixed together made it feel almost unplayable. I was getting like 20 frames, and every movement that I did was lagging. Not a great start. Yeah, and I don't know if that's just a me problem, because even when I wasn't recording and I was playing my Survivor matches, I was still having like laggy gameplay. So that's not very fun. That's never a good sign. And speaking of game bugs, I don't know if this is if this is purposeful, but the event offering is one of the things that are like the best part about the anniversary events. This year, I think it's it's like kind of like a Scream cake. It's just another like cake related thing. They are super rare, which means they are the second rarest and least likely thing to spawn in the blood web. Why behavior did this, I don't know, because literally the only reason half of the players get on to play this game is so they can absolutely stack the cakes, and I was averaging like 10 cakes prestige level. For some reason, the auto blood web also seems to avoid all anniversary items and offerings like the plague. So if you're also having trouble with this, I'd say just manually do your blood web yourself. That helped me get a higher amount. But I was still averaging such a small amount of items and offerings. Really no reason to do this. I don't know, like in the last year it was common, which means you were getting a ton of them, and it was great because people were stacking them and it was motivating people to play more and bring them. For some reason they just made them super. This needs to be changed like within a week of this event being released, because there's no reason to do this. It's a 10th year anniversary event. 10 years. You should be rewarding your players, and it's only 110% instead of 210% for hitting 2 digits. I knew that's what they were going to do, so that's a little bit less disappointing. But dog, you at least need to make your offerings common if they're not going to be that like impressive or different. Gameplay wise, they don't change much. I think you just spawn with a plate, and they also show you tables within 16 meters. You know, nothing crazy there, no like game breaking effects. The items look cool on the survivor side. There's a flashlight, a medkit, a toolbox as usual, and they all look pretty cool, and none of them are like absurdly strong, which is fine. You know, there wasn't any special add-ons for the killer, which kind of sucks, but it's whatever. But yeah, this like just such an unnecessary change. And looking at the quests and stuff, it was still like 10,000 blood points for a quest and 20 rift shards, or like 20k blood points. Like, dog, behavior. This is the 10th anniversary, the 10-year anniversary of your game. Why are we like pulling our punches with the rewards for no reason? This should be the time to literally be showering everyone in blood points, iridescent shards, skins, instead of more charms, banners, which is of course half of what the shop was this year. Look, I like charms and banners, you know, I kind of like that they get to showcase artwork and stuff like that. But those being the main rewards of the game is honestly, it's getting pretty lazy at this point, considering how much freaking money that they're making. I just another disappointment, you know. Like, they were cool, you know, they look cool, but badges and banners don't do anything. They're not like, I'd rather have just a ton of blood points over that, to be honest. That's also something we didn't get. Like I said, like, this is the 10-year anniversary of the game. You would think, I don't know if there's gonna, okay, so like it's such a small amount that it makes me think we're gonna have some sort of like tier 2 where halfway through the event they're gonna do like an overclock mode where it's like every quest is giving you 100k BP or something like that. That better be what it is, because this is just stupid. Like, this is just stupid. You need to have good rewards for these events. You can't just not have good reward. It makes no sense. It makes 0 sense. This is the like 10th year anniversary behavior. 10 years. It's time to pile on the rewards for at least a few weeks out of the year. That's the very least you guys can do. I'm very disappointed that it's like business as usual. But yeah, that's just a whole nother thing. Or like, no, you know, obviously it's the first day. There's a chance, this is why I'm not being super harsh, there's a chance we could get codes, there's a chance we could get more quests with better rewards. That's, I mean, that better be what happens, because I'm not like, no, we need that, and I think we as a player base deserves that. Actually, no, we don't, because all these players suck. And yeah, it's, I don't know. There was also a letter that spawned in right at the start, which was kind of interesting. It had another cryptic code that they've had on every single one of their streams. I don't know what the code's about, and frankly, I don't care anymore, because there's just no cohesion to any of them. So I was just like, okay, this is cool. They let me look around at the letter, and then I closed it, because it's like, okay. Yeah, game balance wise, it's not impossible to win as killer, but it's not very fun. Survivors get effects like haste, invincibility, invisibility, unbreakable pallets. That's just to name a few. Just all sorts of stuff like that. While killer gets like, he gets Lightborn, 3% haste, and undetectable. And you can't even do that until there's like 1 gen left. They literally won't let the killer interact with like the survivor tables until there's 1 gen left or a survivor has died, I think it is. Yeah, and then so you can get these lackluster, tiny, nothing burger changes, while the survivors get literally plates of invincibility, invisibility, haste, teleporting. Like, I mean, it's just, it's not even, like, behavior isn't even trying to hide it. This event was obviously made for survivors. I get it, you know, queue times, casual players, more money, but like, it's really hurts me in my soul when people are still trying to defend this mode. It's the most survivor-sided mode, and it's not even close. Like, literally in my matches, I was about to kill people with my Bubba, and they just ate a plate, and they got 5 seconds of just invincibility where I couldn't hit them, so they made it to a pallet. They stunned me with an unbreakable pallet, and then they sat there and teabagged me like they were good. You know, it's that sort of thing where it's the most obvious hand-holding piece of media that, like, we have, along with all these other overtuned Survivor buffs, and the Survivors are still acting like it's not a, like, I don't know, it's just, I don't know, it's just like my patience was just so shot in every game. How am I supposed to stop a flashlight save when I can't hear, see them, track them, and they just spawn in front of me and get a flashlight save? They can literally get flashlight saves while they're invisible, by the way. And it's just, an unbreakable pallets. It's like, why do we need these things, you know? I think they're cool for a short period of time, but that's these 60-second things that are overlong. And it's not even that. I wouldn't mind that because, like, that's cool on the Survivor side. You know, it's interesting. It's not very interactive, but it's interesting. But the killer doesn't get anything. Like, if we had this stuff alongside the killer getting also OP stuff every 60 seconds when they do some sort of thing, that would make it completely fine. I would not be complaining. But it's the fact that Survivor role gets more and more and more, and the killer just gets nothing. Like, all I could do was poison objects, wait until the last gen was done, and then I could get 3% haste at a table. Like, on the other hand, one thing you can do as a killer is you can throw poison, which basically, when you throw it at a Survivor, it slows them down a little bit, but then it gives them a stamina bar, and when they run out of the stamina bar, they can only walk or slow vault, which honestly is pretty strong. You know, if they didn't have an invincibility, invisible haste plate at their disposal, basically whenever they want, you know, like if that, but whatever. See, like, that poison is actually pretty strong, but, like, by the time that you've gotten them, their stamina fully ran out, they've ran to an invincible pallet that you can't break, so it's like, and then I think it only lasts for like 10 seconds, which is still a decent amount of time to not be able to run or fast vault. So you can usually get a good hit unless they're at like a god loop. So that is one thing. I will say the poison is pretty fun with killer because it's a projectile. So you can long lob it onto like gens and stuff from a distance. That's pretty fun. It's kind of like the snowballs. The aiming does feel super janky, and so does the movement. I mean, this whole anniversary chapter just felt super janky, to be honest. But yeah, there's something the killer can do. And then you can poison the dinner plates and generators. And I don't know what that does, because so far I haven't seen any survivors get any sort of effect. But yeah, I'm just not, like, I just think it's the epitome of just, like, just being sat there and spanked repeatedly by the survivors. And there's just nothing you can do. Like, that's not very fun. It's just bully simulator ×2, the regular mode. So then you have to camp and tunnel, even in slug, even harder than you do in the regular mode, because people are just disappearing, and like, I kind of like it at the same time because it's a crazy chaotic feeling. Like, it's kind of fun at the same time, but then it's the fact that everyone's toxic and mad about it and acts like it isn't the biggest handhold in the game. Like, they won't admit that it's a skillless mode. Does that make any sense? Like, I'm mad because it's not really the mode, I guess it's the players, maybe. No, it's the mode too. But yeah, mode just feels rough. I can talk about another kind of positive is Shane Wig. I forgot how to pronounce his last name. I think it's Wiggis. He is the new or Native American survivor, and honestly, he's pretty cool. I like his design. I like his cosmetics. I'm not a big fan of his voice lines. They just don't sound like, it's not like a big deal. They just don't sound very interesting to me, and there's not like really anything too crazy there. He does interact with Jake, which is cool, because in his lore, he's sent out to look for Jake, and that's how he gets taken. So I actually thought that was kind of cool. I was like, oh, that's a pretty cool. But my biggest complaint with him, honestly, like, I like his design. I like his hitbox. You know, his voice lines are okay. His screams are just, like, and no hate, okay? I'm not saying, this is no hate or no shade to whoever voice acted him. I'm not saying I'm going to find your IP or say that you deserve to be fired, but I don't know what the dev team was smoking when they let those voice lines go through. Maybe I'm just being judgmental, but compared to some of the voice lines we have in the game, like Eddie Robin screams, you know, just to name a few of some of the most crazy screams that we have in the game, I just don't know, like, it doesn't sound like a scream of genuine pain or agony. It just sounds like a goofy scream. And he hits like 5 different things at once. He goes like, and it's like, what are you doing? Like, are you supposed to be screaming, or are you like, I don't know. Just really disappointing scream, especially the hook screams. They're just so goofy. I don't know why they did that. You know, I guess it's fine to not want hyper-realistic screams of agony and pain, but this is literally supposed to be like a horror game where people are getting hooked. Not saying I'm like, yeah, I love the sounds of hyper-realistic scream, but I'm like, wow, I can really appreciate like old Jonathan's screams from the old DBD before they updated him. I was like, wow, like when he gets hooked, like, I would get creeped out and disturbed by that. Shane, I, like, kind of smirk, because he just sounds so silly. And no, this isn't a racist thing before anyone says it. It's not the fact that he's Native American, or, like, oh, that's how Native Americans scream, because no, that's, don't say something stupid like that. It's not, it's just Shane. It's just his screams just sound goofy, you know? Like, when compared to Claudette, Kate, yeah, just compared to any other survivor, even survivors with mid screams, I just feel like I'm like, oh, okay, you know, like, these are fine still, but with Shane's, it's just so goofy that I can't take it seriously. You know, it's not a huge deal at the end of the day, but it does feel stupid, you know? He passed quality control, by the way. But other than that, you know, he's cool. I'd give him like a 7 out of 10. I didn't read too much of his lore, but I think his design's cool. I think his cosmetics are cool. His voice lines are okay. And I am glad we finally have a Native American survivor, because I was surprised we didn't have one for a while. So I'm not complaining about that at all. I think that's cool. I just think, yeah, do a scream overhaul, and then it doesn't even have to be realistic. Just make it not sound like some 6-year-old doing a role play of Dungeons and Dragons, you know? And yeah, the chapter didn't really release with anything else. Oh yeah, his perks didn't get nerfed. One of them got buffed. Lend a Hand got buffed, which I'm not complaining about, because I was the one calling for buffs for that perk. But his other 2 perks, cross-examination, all that, got not changed. So far, I haven't had too many issues with them. In my killer matches, I'm still, like, winning, but to be fair, I wasn't going up against crazy good survivors. So it's like, it's whatever. I think the event is really overwhelming for both sides, and that's the only thing that's making it feel like semi-balanced, is like no one knows what they're doing in the event, like survivor or a killer, because there's just so much stuff happening. It's a bit like a sensory overload. Design of it was cool, by the way, another positive thing. I love the fact that they injected like the design of the event into maps and had different sections and stuff. Really cool. Like, as always, the art team was killing it, but my overall satisfaction with it is just not that high, to be honest. Like, I didn't have a great time. I mean, like, Killer was still kind of fun, but, you know, it was that feeling of, like, helplessness when you get stunned, and then they just go invisible as soon as they break line of sight, or they go invincible so they can just make a window vault or a pallet leap, or they drop a pallet as Shaq and you can't break it because it's not breakable for 40 seconds. It's like, well, guess I gotta leave him. And if I was going up against competent teams or even just competent players, it would have been GG's. That's all I'm saying, is I just don't think, like, I think the only thing that would make this event fun is if the killer also had some crazy OP stuff and could also interact with the tables, because the survivors really do get crazy effects. Like, I think no one would say, yeah, no, these effects are lackluster, and Casserole, you're just coping because you're a bad player. Like, I won all my matches, first of all, thank you very much. Second of all, no, they're not. You just get, like, some of the most game-breaking effects. Killer literally gets 3% haste for 20 seconds. I mean, like, the devs aren't even hiding it at this point. They're not even attempting to hide it they're just like, yeah, just do whatever. Just give survivors everything they want, which is fine. You know, I play both sides. I just want the killer to have some of that too. I want killer to have, oh, for 60 seconds, all the generators are 10% slower to repair. Or for the next 60 seconds, the killer gets like 5% haste, and when he gets stunned by a pallet, it stacks another 2% every single time. You know, just something. Just something cool, because the event is just not fun for killer, to be honest. It's really not. And I think it's kind of fun for survivor. I think right now it's overwhelming, but once people get used to it, we're going to be seeing a lot of like 3-hook 4-man out escapes, definitely. I'm already seeing that in all the streamers that I checked in on, because I was watching the big Ots, the big hens. I don't know, like, and I like I said, I won, you know. It was like, I had close matches for sure, but some of my matches weren't close, and I just was like, why do they just have this? Why does the survivor just eat a plate for 3 seconds and I just can't hit them for the next 6 seconds? And the poison is cool. I would not nerf the poison. I think the poison is perfectly balanced. Actually, no, okay, the poison's a little crazy, but compared to all the crazy effects the survivor has, it feels, that's what makes it feel underwhelming. What I would do to fix this event, okay, because a lot of people will go, oh, well, you always complain, but you wouldn't actually know what to do. Well, I do, so here you go, for those people who are going to go down and comment that. First off, I would make all the offerings and items common. There's no reason to make it rare for the event. This should be the time where you're allowed to stack it, and they shouldn't be forcing their players to grind. Number 2, I would make it so that The event offering is just 200% instead of 110 for hitting 2 digits for everybody. Yeah. Number 3, I would make it so that the quests give you massive amount of blood points ranging from 50 to 200k, I think sounds pretty fair. Number 5, I would be dropping regular blood point codes for like millions of blood points. Number 6, I would remove like 1 or 2 of the badges or banners and add 1 or 2 like event related cosmetics that's not in the store that you have to buy with orc cells or iridescent shards, and make it so that you get more rewards from actually doing the quests related to event, because that's stupid. Number 6, I think it was, I would actually increase the amount of tables that spawn for both sides. But then for number 7, I would also make it so that the killer can interact with the table whenever they want. They can also grab an effect from it before they poison it. And number 8, I would give the killer strong effects. And you can literally do whatever. They did crazy stuff for the survivor. Why don't they do it for the killer? Just make it so that when it gets stunned by pallet, literally nothing happens. Since the survivor gets invincibility, why doesn't the killer get some form of invulnerability? And you could say, oh, they get Lightborn for 30 seconds. Whoopee, they get Lightborn for 30 seconds. That's nothing. That's nothing compared to just... nope, you don't get to hit me, or nope, you can't break a pallet for 60 seconds, or nope, I'm invisible, you can't see me. That's nothing compared to that. It's literally nothing. I'm trying not to just crash out and start just tweaking, but dog, it's like, do they even care? Do they even care about people who play, like, both the killer anymore? About 50-50 players. I don't really care about killer mains that much, because I don't think people should main. I don't like survivor mains. I don't like killer mains. I think everyone should play both sides and make them less whiny. But let's get to the final problem, okay? Now that I've quote-unquote fixed the game and made the event better. And you guys can say, oh, Casserole, you're just molding because of your matches. Like I said, A, I won all my matches. I have a few video proofs of that. B, my killer queue times were 58 seconds, when for the past week... they've been 11 plus minutes. That's not me. Like, when I'm getting suddenly dropping from 13-minute queues to minute-long queues, no one's hopping on killer to play this event, all right? So just stop. But the biggest thing I had with this event, actually on both sides, when I played both killer and survivor, was, of course, just people kind of ruining the vibe. On survivor, my teammates weren't doing gens, and it partially makes sense because, you know, they're trying to interact with the new event thing. But I mean, for 3 minutes straight, nobody touched a gen except for me. Multiple teammates trying to sell me out after they threw matches, and, you know, the killer just dropping them and hunting me down. Also, I noticed a lot of the killers I played against were also not really being toxic, but they would just, like, slug me out and hump me for a while, or shake their heads, just like when I didn't really do anything during the match. And then, of course, on the killer side, it's the usual teabag, flashlight click, and game chat. I don't really care about in-game actions that too much, because it's whatever. But it sucks when I get out of the match where I played fair, I didn't do anything toxic, I say, GG, well played, I got my 4K, and they're all like, you should jump into a pit, you should do something with a rope, you know, I shot your mother last night. It really, I wouldn't even say like I'm a snowflake, but it just kind of wears on your nerves, where it's like, you're not really like, oh, that's a horrible thing to say. Like, you've literally become numb to it. You're just so sick of, like, no one can just not be toxic in this game. It's just impossible for them. And that sucks, because I want everyone to have a good time. But it seems like no one's having that much of a good time. I haven't had a single person just stop and go, GG. On Survivor, I said, happy 10th anniversary, everyone, because why not? You know, it's a little cheesy, but, you know, I'm trying to get the vibes right. And they just say, hang yourself. Just nothing. And I go, why are you playing a game if you're miserable? And then they go, shut up, dork. Just like, they can't be happy. It feels like half the people can't be happy. And that's ironic, because I'm making a video ranting about the event, but that's because I had actual valid critiques that I think most people could agree with. These people are just complaining. And even when survivors are spoon-fed as much, like they're you know that one meme where it's that dude from the Monsters?
Retire life. Jerry, sir, bring on the feed hose ASAP. The boy's hungry.
That's what it feels like. The survivors are just fed and fed and fed. More kit overtune, more base kit things, more, and they just keep crying and DCing and whining and getting mad and raging and leaving comments on my Steam. Like, they are given everything and they act like they are the victims in the game. And then Favor just keeps going, oh, well, we like the underdog. We like the underdog. At this point, the killer has been the underdog. I mean, the killer always was the underdog because it's 1v4. But in the past year, killer has been the most, like, unfun it's ever been to play for me out of the 3 years that I've played this game. It's just not fun. And, like, I was winning during the, you know, like, the event, I was having a little bit of fun because it was crazy seeing all the stuff that could happen. but it was just that irk in the back of your brain when they just eat a pie in front of you and all of a sudden you just can't hit them. It's like, why can they do stuff like that, but I can't do anything? It's not fun, and it's not fair. And don't tell me it's impossible to balance an ASIM game, because you can never 100% balance it, but you can sure as hell try harder than what behavior has been doing. And honestly, I want to see changes, okay? My hope is that halfway through the event, they'll make a hot fix where they'll at least buff the amount of blood points, you know, buff the event offerings, and maybe make it so the killer can do something more, because as it stands, even in matches where I was winning, I just wasn't having that much fun. And yeah, I know this has been a bit more of a pessimistic rant video, but I just have to open up and be honest. And maybe other people are having different experiences than me. That's okay, I understand. But I just don't... I'm already seeing, after it's only been out for a few hours, that it seems a lot of people are already having the feeling I am. And I already see just... I don't know. Just, like, let's just say... All I'm going to say is I'm probably not going to be playing Killer very much this event. I'm probably mostly going to be playing Survivor, because Killer just feels like you're having an aneurysm every time you try to play this event. While for Survivor, it feels like as long as you run 4 strong perks along with this mode, you basically can't lose if you're somewhat competent. And that's coming from someone who's bad at the game and loses often. Even when I'm losing, I'm like, man, this is crazy. I'm so overtuned. That's all I have to say. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe. And yeah, let me know down below if you disagree. And I don't mean like you're a stupid idiot, you don't know what you're doing. Like, give me actual like critiques on how you think. Like, no, actually you're wrong because blah blah A, B, and C. Or if you agree with me and you're like, yeah, you know what, I agree with what this dude has to say. But either way, leave a comment because I read all comments. And yeah, all I can hope is that this event gets a little more work before the next update.